Hi Supervivers, it's Jess.
It's Jess.
I know it's been a minute since I last recorded one of these, so thanks for your patience. Today, I'm here to share a special edition State of the Supervive Fireside chat as we're about to head into our newest arc because, boy, it is a lot. We're still in open beta, so it's not yet time to call it a Season 1 launch, but this will be our most transformative patch yet. And with it, I want to share more on where Supervive is going and the problems we're tackling. I know sometimes we go heads down to work and it can feel like we're not catching all of your smaller suggestions, but we have to take a big picture approach to fixing things, and that means we can't detour for smaller improvements just yet. That said, we're listening and we do have some things coming with this arc that I think many of you will like. First, many of you said our first battle pass wasn't great. Not enough exciting content and not enough skins. Fair enough. With this battle pass, we've gone super hard, going from 1 epic skin and 1 legendary glider, to 3 epic skins, 1 rare skin, and 2 legendary gliders, as well as improving our content all up. And yes, if you finish this season's battle pass, you should have enough currency to buy this one for free, and to continue going infinite the next. Second, we're nuking the rotating shop and staying with an open store. I'll just say bluntly, a rotating store is better for business because it gives players a reason to visit the store consistently, and there are players who enjoy the experience of seeing what's in stock that day. But those of you who don't like rotating stores really don't like them, and we figure rather than convincing you, we'd rather invest our time and effort into the things you care about, like a better battle pass. Third, I'm really happy with the variety of new hunters we've released while in open beta. Bebo, the mischievous chaos maker, Krista, the supercharged burst mage, and Saros, the elite solar soldier. Our next upcoming hunter is a femme fatale healer who can keep her allies alive through pain. And after that, we have a bounty hunter with a mechanical focus on his prey. Stay tuned. After open beta launch, we saw new players dropping off faster than we would like. Reflecting back, we think it came down to a few key problems to solve. Too much of Supervive's depth was team-oriented, which meant solo players struggled to feel impactful. While lethality is a big part of what makes Supervive work, it makes it hard to appreciate the combat depth if you're dying too fast. Supervive was just too complicated for new players to come on board and see the magic. Supervive didn't have enough meaningful progression to make your time investment worthwhile. So, let's break down how we're tackling these problems. I know it's spicy to change a game's default pre-made size, especially because we're consolidating both squads and duos, but this is a critical change we think will make the game better, especially for new and solo players. To us, trios represents a strong balance between the mayhem of squads and the clarity of duos. Most importantly, it dials solo carry potential way up, something we think is mission critical for the future of the game. And while we love that weird combination of chaotically coordinated teamfights that squad games bring, we've heard time and time again that it's simply overwhelming for many players, even ones who have dozens of hours of playtime. On top of that, while lethality is important to Supervive so that fights always feel winnable, it's made the power of an organized squad overwhelming, almost entirely by the strength of their coordinated engagement. All up, Trios massively improves combat clarity. It gives more solo players the dream of outplaying their opponents, and makes positioning more important when there's fewer teammates on the field. Your contribution towards your team's success is so much higher than before, at least 25% higher. Don't check that math. Finally, from a pragmatic perspective, it lets us condense the queues for faster, more balanced matches. So, another change we're comboing up with trios is to fulfill a big community request, splitting ranked and unranked queues. This should lead to tighter, more competitive ranked matches and far fewer sweats in your unranked games. It also means we can finally implement separate rules for ranked and unranked, so we're hitting another community request with our revival rules being turned off in ranked for the higher stakes. With all of that said, I know I've positioned trios as pure upside, but I'll just take a moment to acknowledge those of you who love squads and duos and will be sad to see those queues go. We will be launching trios with the option to choose no fill if you want to bring your duo squad, or even solo self in with no other party members. But I know change is scary. We don't make this decision lightly. We just believe it's the best path forward, given all the trade-offs. You've already seen some of our changes to dashes, where we've been reducing the more chaotic yeets that can make combat feel a little wild or out of control. At the highest level, we'd like combat in Supervive to feel like a sharp, precise knife fight, where every action counts and you're really thinking about how to get the kill. Currently, however, a lot of our combat can feel a little unintentional, likely because you can spam so many abilities and attacks without thinking much. We've got a whole suite of changes coming here. all of which are intended to add more intentionality to combat. This includes things like splitting haste into ability or dash cooldown reduction, so that you have to choose between high mobility or high ability uptime, shifting combat power from basic attack spam to landing abilities. And finally, trying to make mana more consistent across all hunters so everyone has to manage their ability usage, at least a little bit. Okay, so the word progression means different things in different settings. So I'll say there's two types of progression we're looking at to improve the game. The first is adding account progression as both a form of onboarding and making it more exciting for new players to level up from game to game. So now instead of getting the total complexity of Supervive shotgunned into you out of the gate, you'll unlock things like new power slots, equipment evolution choices, and more as you play. Now, the second version of progression we're tackling is meta progression, which is more about giving you a persistent, long-term progression system that carries over between individual sessions and provides a sense of growth and deeper playstyle customization. I'll share more as our prototyping comes together, but something we're aiming to ship with our 1.0 launch is called the Armory, which will build out an entirely new meta progression system for Supervive. With the Armory, you'll be able to unlock content through playing the game and be able to theorycraft new builds in more reliable ways. There's still a lot to be done here, so I'm keeping this high level, but the goal is to basically add an entirely new layer to Supervive, where you're always making progress session to session, on top of each game feeling sharp and memorable. So, just to summarize our goals and state of the Supervive here. We think the best version of Supervive is one where new players aren't overwhelmed, but instead can quickly see the magic and depth in the game, where solo players can feel much more successful, where players feel meaningful progression match over match, and one where you always have the potential to pop off and carry when the moment's right. That's what we're working towards, and we think this patch is a major step in that direction. We've got even more cooking, but I'll stop there for now. Thanks for sticking with us, and I'll talk to you all in a bit.